no matter how tired you are, because we all get tired. I mean, I'm exhausted, as I told you earlier, but you know what? It's all worth it. When you sit back and no matter how tired you are, you say, you know what? It's worth it. I am part of change and I am doing what.
Happy Thursday, everyone. Thanks for joining. Today on our IG Live, we have Sarah from SG3 Events. Oh, well, there we go. If I can get this straight. Hold on one second. Here she is. There she is.
Hello. I got ready so fast, Megan.
Okay, so just to let everyone know, I'm gonna do like an overshare. So I texted Sarah. I was like, "Hey, I'm like, can't wait to see you soon, whatever." She's like, "I'm literally just getting a shower." She's like, "Okay, so first of all, I'm just gonna tell you this: you deserve like a gold medal, trophy, because there's no way that I could ever shower, get ready, and like be presentable in like 15 minutes. That would just be.
I'm still sweating. But the trick is the bright color and the earrings and the lip gloss.
So
But I'm literally still sweating. Like I got home at 5:30, jumped in the shower, and you texted me at 5:40, and I was like, "Yep, I'm just getting out of the shower. I will be ready." So yeah,
you are awesome though.
Here, that's from me rushing.
That is good. That's the life. I mean,
yes.
It's so funny because I mean now we for like to rush for anything we're like what? Like we have things to do, places to be. Oh, hold on. I think there we go.
I lost you there for a
second. Can you see me? Okay, good.
Can you hear me?
I can. So for people who don't know kind of who you are and what SG3 Events is, you're out of, is it DC?
Yes, closest is DC.
Are you back?
I'm back. I'm here. Can you hear me? That is so
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna flip over to where my my signal is in case that's the problem. Is it okay? Is it okay now? Can you hear me better?
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so I am based out of Clarksburg, Maryland. That's closest is DC for people. That's like the closest.
Okay.
To make people know where I'm from. Clarksburg, Maryland. And I have been in the wedding industry for a little over 10 years. I actually started off working. Honestly, I've always been planning events, to be very honest. I've always been doing something, planning here and there. But the official intro into planning events from a structured perspective was when I was working in corporate America, and I had the opportunity then to plan events. I was a project manager, but I also had the opportunity to plan corporate events. And I got into it. I was doing it, corporate work, and I was also doing some social work on the side. And it's one of those things where I'll never forget this. One of my boss at the time, I was very close with his sister-in-law, and she came to one of the events that I had planned. And he was seeing pictures of it over dinner or something. And the next Monday he comes to work and he's like, "Sarah, I mean, I know that you do this for us, and also, on the side." He's like, "But how do you?" He could not believe the amount of work I did and how beautiful everything looked. And he kept saying, how do you find time for this?" And I remember telling him, I said, "Honestly, I don't know." He's like, "'Cause I know how busy you are. You're working 12, 16-hour days. So how in the world are you making time to put up something like that?" And I said, "Honestly, you make time for what you love." And that really was one of those moments, one of those pivotal moments where I realized that, okay, you know what? I think that this is beyond just a passion. I actually need to take the step and, just start a business. But the problem was that I'm very risk averse. I was afraid to even start anything. I was very comfortable where I was. I was already planning corporate events, planning social events on the side. And I had little kids, and like, this just doesn't make any sense. But when you're passionate about something and you keep, you find yourself like you would literally go 3 nights without sleeping very well, and you're fine. you just have to do it, you have to do something else with it. So you know, strategically just took the time and started planning towards, and I wasn't sure if it was going to be, you know, owning my business or if it would be working for, you know, like another corporation. I
Right.
remember at that time I loved Marriott, so I was always eyeing Marriott. I would love to work with them, blah blah. And then fast forward to about 5 years ago when that's when I started to take it more seriously and kind of, you know, look to see if I would want to work with another event planning company. But again, I was still doing it, you know, for a company and on the side. And eventually I just realized, you know what? I think that if I'm going to do this, I have to be able to do it my way, because
Yeah.
although I love doing it on the corporate side, you know, there are lots of red tape that you have to follow, and it's just not the same. So yeah, I started, you know, working towards it, strategically, just planning. I see people joining saying hi. Hey, Addie. So yeah, I just started planning towards it and working towards it slowly but surely. And fast forward to 2 years ago, I officially took the plunge and started SG3 Events. And we are a wedding and event planning company. We do weddings, we do social events, corporate events, you name it. And my passion was really to step out and do this my way. And my way means very hands-on, experiential type of events where it's filled with a lot of love and relationships and just a feel-good, you know, type of event. So yeah, that's my story in a nutshell. Wow, you see some of the sweat coming out now. That's what happens when you take a shower and get dressed in 20 minutes.
Seriously. Oh my goodness. That's awesome. And I love your story because I think it's really important to note, like, not everybody is just like, oh, I'm just going to start a business and like they jump in and, you know, sometimes it's a smart thing to kind of wait and build it until it's like the right time, so that you're not like sitting there twiddling your thumbs being like, how am I going to pay my rent or my mortgage, or how am I going to eat or feed my children, you know, things like that, where, you know, as you kind of build, you have that opportunity to really kind of focus and learn how you want your business. I think that's the other part, is sometimes if you're starting something new, you don't know what you don't know. So,
Exactly.
So when you're like, wait, maybe I need to just figure it out and make sure that I like doing this. I think that's awesome. That's so good. So in terms of like,
yeah,
kind of the types of weddings that you do, you said really experiential. Like, give me an example of like a really fun experiential event that you've done.
absolutely. So I love to get to know my couples. I'm a very big on relationship building. So from the moment that, you know, they inquire and, you know, we would have had so many conversations. So I like to understand, you know, who they are, understand their love story, and infuse that in so many ways. Like even starting off with your invitations, you know, let's brand your invitation. So when everybody sees anything that relates to your wedding, they remember whatever brand, like even if it's just a monogram. Honestly, for me, it's just finding those little elements that really mean something to the couple, whether it's, you know, where they met, or you know, something. I have a couple who loves music, and, you know, infusing music into their event in different ways, whether it's like with a band or whatever it might be. But it's really, for me, it's really just taking the time to understand, you know, what are those elements that makes their love story unique, whether it's in their colors, the type of food they like, you know, the way that they want the day to flow. And honestly, it's also breaking the barriers and the cliches. Like if you don't want to do a first dance, you don't have to do that. If you don't want a cake, you don't have to do that. What is unique to you, you know, where when your friends come to your wedding, they see this, they know, oh, yep, this is, we already know this is what they're going to expect. So it's just really, you know, not forcing the typical ideas on them, and not forcing, you know, the cliches and the etiquette and so forth, but really just understanding what their vision is and what their love stories, and infusing that in the decor, the music, even the lighting. You know, I have a couple who they love red, you know, and like, okay, well, let's find ways to infuse that in there. So it's really just, for me, I look at it as when you attend the wedding, I want your five senses to be, you know, to be touched. You know, what you see, what you smell, you know, what you're tasting, all of that should all come together cohesively and should tell your love story in a very unique way. So for me, I love to get creative with like little, one of my favorite things is actually like welcome sign or like find your seat. All of those little things are where you can infuse their personality, even in their food and their catering needs. You can infuse personality in there as well. But it's just beyond like sitting at a wedding and just watching it play out. It's really, when you touch the napkin, it might be a little bit of, little bit of like a paper saying something about their story, just something where when you look at everything as a whole, you remember a little touches throughout the night, but when you put it all together, it amounts to, oh, wow, I really could see that. I could really see that. But it takes a lot of time to get to know the client and just thoughtfully plan what will represent their love story.
I love that. And that's so cool, because it really is all about the personalization now.
Absolutely.
And for couples to be able to really feel like it's their day. It's not just this ritual they're going through. It's actually a celebration of who they are, which is not going to be the same as maybe a couple that you have the next month or the month prior,
Exactly.
So really get to know them, and like, I think it's so cool. And I love that that you do all the 5 senses, because I think those are things that maybe people can sometimes, like, they'll forget about. But those are really fun and unique things too, because my favorite thing is when couples go in and they haven't seen like the done.
Yes, the first.
Oh my goodness!
That is actually one of my favorites as well. I'm biased. I'm like, I always want to be the one to take them in. The floral designer always wants to be there. So like, hey, you guys are gonna be there. Photographer's gonna be there. I even always customize it with music. I have a certain music for them to come into. And then scents is another thing. Like, I always work with the floral designer and say, hey, what kind of, let's play around with some of the smells. Like, we had eucalyptus flowers in one wedding, and when they walked in, it was like, wow. Not only are you seeing something beautiful, but you're also feeling it, the music, everything. I mean, people just cry.
I love it.
And that makes me feel like, okay, my job is accomplished here. I was able to touch them and engage all these emotions just by them walking in. So yeah, that's literally my favorite moment as well.
I love that. And those are the things too that I think sometimes people forget, like smell. I mean, flowers, obviously there's a lot of flowers that smell. And so understanding not just like what do you want it to look like, but how it's going to smell and infuse that smell in the room. I mean, that's amazing.
Exactly. Sure. Absolutely. And I'm cutting out here a little bit. So if for whatever reason you see me cut out, I don't know what's going on with my internet today.
That's okay. Yesterday,
one of those days.
Oh, Chana just joined. Hey, Chana, yesterday we just had like, whatever, and then like it like didn't want to work. So then she had to like come back in, and I don't know. Like maybe it's just, I was telling her like, I think it's me, right? So it could just be.
It's showing me I have one signal, one bar here. So let's just keep. So far, so good. But if it cuts out, I'll figure it out.
I love it. So Chonda's here, yeah. So tell me a little bit about. I love what the National Society of Black Wedding and Event Professionals is doing, and so you're the director of operations. So a little bit about what to expect, what you guys are doing. I mean, you just kind of started your founding membership drive, right? Now you guys have like 100, 200, how many members?
Yeah, we have over 100 applications that we've been going through since we launched. And as of last week, we had close to 60 members, and we're still, driving through all of that. And I'm sure that if Addie's still on, some of the numbers might have changed, because Addie is our director of membership.
Okay.
Yeah, but we've just been focusing on our membership. But beyond that, one of the things that I'm just so grateful for this association, because we really have a lot in store. With anything new, take some time for it to ramp up. But if you look at the team, the board of directors, all of us, it is not just because I'm part of it. It is literally an amazing team. Everybody has, like different things they bring on. Oh, J.R. Robinson Events, thank you for being a member, a founding member at that. Thank you so much for being a member. But yeah, so we have been working again on our membership and members, and part of what we're doing is for our founding members is that we want to be able to, elevate them in their business. And we've been doing, you probably see on our social media page, we've been doing some videos. Chip, our director of social media, has been doing a tremendous job with just highlighting our founding members. Hey, Linda. That's my keynote events over there.
Awesome.
And the association is called the National Society of Black Wedding and Event Professionals. And our IG page is at NSBWEP. I hope I said that right. But yes, so yeah, to go back to your...
We're going to link it also.
Oh,
so, but
perfect.
once we post this,
We'll
link it as well. There you go.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, so to go back to your question, so one of the things we're doing obviously is getting our members up to speed, getting them on our Instagram page, doing a lot of membership videos with our director of social media. And then one of the things that we're actually doing in the immediate term is we are actually going to have an educational webinar coming up on August 12th. And we have a educational calendar that we're working on. And our plan is to have a webinar for members only every second Wednesday of the month. The August 12th webinar, though, is very special. We feel like it's very important to start off with a very strong foundation. So our director of education, Tiffany Chalk, with our board of directors, they've been working really hard with getting some amazing event pros that can just help us to build a strong foundation, in the sense that teaching people, business owners, on how to scale their businesses, how to make sure they're running businesses that are, going to last for a very long time. So we figured we wanted to start off doing something that would give back to the community, not just members, but also the community as a whole, and just have that strong foundation. Thank you, A. Monica Ferris, for being a founding member. Sorry, I'm never going to get to finish my answer, Megan. I'm going to shout out all of our members here. Thank you so much for being a member. But yes, we have a webinar coming up on August 12th that will be open to the public. And the idea behind that webinar is that we don't want to make any assumptions. We want to start off with a very strong foundation. So we're going to have some pros coming in to just educate us on the things that you need to have as a business owner so that your business can sustain, not only during a pandemic, but just in general, operational things that you should have, things that you shouldn't skimp on as a business owner. And that's open to everyone. And the idea behind that is that we want to be able to get back and just say, hey, for people that don't necessarily meet the qualifications right now, here's a webinar that you can join that will have all of the information on what you can do to, to help your business grow or to scale. And then starting the second Wednesday in September, we will start to have member-only webinars. So whoever's on right now or watching this replay later, you want to become a member, because August 12th is a taste of what's to come. But starting in September, we will be having members-only webinars, and we have a lot in store for you guys. And again, education is just one part of it. We have a lot of other stuff in store with scholarships. We're going to have networking events. We're going to have strategic partners where we're going to partner with certain people that can also offer, great incentives to our members. So we just have a lot in store. And my job as a director of operations is to help us to organize, coordinate, manage all of this amazing efforts that we have planned so that we can deliver them within a timely manner.
I love it.
Yes.
And I think it's funny. I mean, to go back to what you had said before in terms of like where you find the time in, already long days, like that's the thing. If you're not organized,
yes.
I mean, you just end up, I think email or social media, either one is a great example of like where you can just get like sucked in. If
Absolutely.
You're and really intentional about your time.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, even this week alone, my birthday was this past weekend. I felt like I was on vacation. I didn't work. I celebrated all weekend in the most, socially distanced way possible.
I love it.
And then I got back to work on Monday and I had to onboard some new clients. And I'm telling you, it has been a long week with phone calls and email and just, site visits and so forth. But it goes back to also loving what you do and being passionate about it. I'm very passionate about this cause. So for me, it really is just part of, I make time for it. I make time for it. It is also important that I help to ensure that what we said that we're going to do, we're actually going to do them. And this is a legit organization. We are all professionals, and we want to continue to exude that level of professionalism with everything we put out. So whatever we put out to our members, we make sure that we go through a very thorough process of, ensuring that we're putting out excellence in everything we do. And that's what we are striving to do for our members. And honestly, there's a lot on the plate. There's a whole lot. But, I have been doing everything I can with all the board of directors as well to ensure that it doesn't feel overwhelming, and we're just working towards some, each program one step at a time.
Absolutely. And I mean, well, because we had Tara on earlier, and it was so funny because it's like, not only, did she kick off the society, but then on top of it, she had all of the, kind of revamp of the signature CEO conference she was doing. I mean, and those are the things, like when you love what you do and you know that what you're doing is important.
Yes, you're making a difference.
That's
exactly.
Time. It's not work. I mean, it's work, but it's not work. It's what you want to do.
Exactly.
So good. That's awesome.
Yeah. And by the way, Tara did, when I saw the pictures from the signature CEO, pivoting to virtual, and I told her, I said, even looking great doing it. She's had a pretty busy couple of months, but to your point, when you're passionate about what you're doing and giving back, I mean, this is beyond just, doing it just because. There's a lot of thought behind this. We want to be the change that we want to see. We want to help our members. We want to make sure that we are making an impact. And no matter how tired you are, because we all get tired. I mean, I'm exhausted, as I told you earlier, but you know what? It's all worth it. When you sit back and no matter how tired you are, you say, you know what? It's worth it. I am part of change, and I am doing what I enjoy, what I'm passionate about. Yes, it's work. Yes, it's long hours, but it's so rewarding. It's so rewarding,
I love that. That's so good. That's so good. And so what do you think one of the things that I love about the society is that it really gives a bar to not just the industry, but for Black wedding professionals and event professionals to understand how they should be holding themselves accountable as a business, and also being able to give them representation and show them amazing people that they can, be mentored by or, find inspiration from. I mean, what are some of the things, like for businesses, like you were saying, who might not be at that point where they're ready for the membership? What do you think that they should be doing? I mean, obviously the August 12th.
Yes, that's a sneak peek into our August 12th webinar. Honestly, this is going to sound like a very cliche answer, but they need to be part of that webinar on August 12th, because that is exactly one of the reasons why we're actually having that webinar, is to be able to educate those that may not meet the criteria. And even for those that are, within the criteria, it's also going to teach you how to scale your business, how to continue to make sure that you're running a business from a very sound perspective. And there's a lot of information out there, but sometimes you either can be getting the wrong information or too much information. You're not really sure what to do with it. So part of our goals for August 12th is not only are we going to educate, we're also going to provide the professionals that will be providing services to actually help. So when you leave the webinar, not only do you have information on what to do, you also have resources that you have contact information. They'll actually be able to help you further along. So for example, if someone says, hey, I'm 6 months into this, I'm not sure what to do, come to the webinar, you find out information. You also get some key takeaways, and the people that are actually speaking will offer certain things that you can actually do to help continue to grow your business. So my answer is going to be August 12th. August 12th. And our website we launched our website last week. So all that, we'll have information coming out, and just follow our social media page. And that's where you can see, the link to register will be coming out soon. All of that will be on there. So August 12th, that's the answer.
Okay, people, August 12th. August 12th is the date. You have to be at that webinar. And I love that, because again, I think that's really important. Like, just on a foundational level, to have a successful business, it's so much more than just being really creative or having good ideas.
Exactly.
It's more than being organized. It's more than, there's so many other things that having.
Exactly.
You don't consider all of that. It's almost like you're building a house of cards. Like, it's just gonna fall. And then all that hard work, everything is just going to die. Like,
exactly. And I'll share a little story even from my personal experience. So again, I mentioned I've been in the event industry for about 10 years, doing it, on a corporate side and on the side as well. But I was still working with big companies at that time. So I had that protection, for lack of better words, right? They already had the operations in place. I just planned. I didn't have to deal with, invoicing or anything else that comes with it. When I started my business, I was like, oh, okay, I'm not working. This is all I do. This is my full-time job. I don't have a 9 to 5. This is all I do. I'm going to have all this time in the world to do everything. I'm not only going to have time, it's going to come so easy because I already know what to do, blah, blah. Yeah, I was in for a rude awakening. The first 3 months, I don't even think I saw my kids. My husband felt like a single dad. Like, he still says, like, so today he still says, I barely saw my wife. And I now had 24 hours in a day. And I'm telling you, it was so difficult to do everything because there's so much to do. So, if this association was around then, it would be something where I can just quickly plug into resources, and of course I had to do my research, but it took a lot of time. And now that I'm running the business, it still takes a lot of time to sustain. There's operational side, accounting, marketing, the actual planning. Let's not forget networking and relationship building. All of that is what it takes to not only run a business, but to sustain a business. So if you don't have a strong foundation, you can start your business now, and a year later, some things might be shaky, but what we're trying to do is just create this platform to make sure that we're educating people, giving them the representation they need, helping them to elevate their business, and giving them the tools and resources to actually be able to maneuver through different phases of business, whether you're 5 years in, 10 years in, whatever it might be. We just want to create that platform. And, again, speaking from experience, I am at the point now where I'm feeling like I'm in control of my business, which is great, but I still have a lot to learn. I still have a lot to learn. And I'm also looking forward to, even as a board member, being able to use those resources as well. So it's for, honestly, you don't have to be new, or it's for anyone who is just, wants that representation and is looking for that support. But it is a lot of work to own your business. And if you, don't do it the right way, like when I started, I thought it was going to be so easy. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done outside of being in labor for 48 hours, actually.
Oh my goodness, 48 hours?
48 hours, yes, 48 hours, and then a C-section after that. So yeah, that that was the hardest thing until I started my business. So yeah, it's a lot of work. It's one of the reasons why I said no more kids.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so not to scare anyone if you're like just starting out and you're listening, 48-hour labor and a C-section later,
Exactly.
but it is. I mean, business is a lot of work, and I think
It is.
doesn't matter how many articles you read, doesn't matter how many people you talk to, until you're really in the trenches doing it day in, day out, and there's no one else doing it for you. Like, it's only you. When you realize that, you do that, no one else, no advice can forewarn you well enough.
Absolutely, absolutely. And even if you have help, I'm the kind of person that I always want to do everything, myself. And I think you also have, as a business owner, you have to realize that you can't do that. You have to outsource certain things, but you have to know what to outsource. What are the right things that you should do,
Right.
But it is overwhelming. It's a lot. And then, I think for me now, I'm starting to appreciate all of the, education and knowledge I gained during the 10 years of me working in corporate America, because a lot of the, planning the event comes easy, but the back end side of it, the operational side, is where it is a little challenging. And that's one of the things that we actually, as an association, plan to make sure that we are educating people on that back end side of things. Because that is, trying to put an event up, making sure it's pretty, that's the simple stuff. But it's to sustain the back end operational that really, I feel like us, even as Black professionals, we really could use that platform that would actually help to elevate us and just educate us. So yeah, I can talk about this all day, as you can tell.
I love it. I love it. But that's just it. I have coaching clients that, they're like, I tried to do this and I literally got lost on Google, like Googling things, and like down a rabbit hole. And like weeks later, I still don't have an answer. I still have to do anything. I don't know, and it's like, that's where, if you can get either a mentor, a coach, or someone else to be able to help you, give you those shortcuts, that direction, That
Exactly.
saves you so much time. And that's, I
Yeah.
think that's the thing. It's like, whether you invest, you're in a membership, you know, get a mentor, you
Right.
invest in a coach,
Right.
that's, yes, you're paying for that, but
Right.
you're paying for the shortcut, because when you
Exactly.
think about your time as money, think
Exactly.
about how many weeks worth of like Google searches it's
Exactly.
like,
I
and you
I
still don't.
call that working. That's working smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
That's how I look at that. Yes, you can Google. Yes, you can do all these things, but the people that you are, you're going out and getting coaching, joining associations, they are there for a reason. They have years of experience. They have the knowledge. They have the expertise. They will help guide you. That's not to say that you won't run into some things here and there, but at least you'd be better prepared. You would have
Yeah.
a strong foundation, and because you're working with people that have been there, that can help to show you the ropes, and that to me is just working smarter.
Yeah, and especially if you're married, or your friends or family want to see you,
Right.
and
Right.
being able to maintain those relationships, that's like an
Exactly.
insurance policy.
Exactly. No, you nailed it. You nailed it. I mean, I have two little kids. Thank God my husband's so supportive. And, even during the pandemic, he's been working full time. So we've been trying to figure out how to, manage that with the kids. And the kids are not going to school anytime soon. So virtual learning between my husband and I mean, it is a lot of work. But thankfully, our girls are, like they're at the point now where I think they've realized, okay, this mommy and daddy are not going to get out of their office as much as we want them to. So, we're just gonna have to do some things on our own. Like my daughter makes my oldest daughter makes my younger one breakfast now. She's like, Mommy, I took care of it. I'm like, you're the best daughter ever. Can you get me breakfast while you're at it?
Hey, me too. I'll come over and she can make me breakfast too.
Exactly. She's really good too. She's really good at it. She wants to be a chef, so she's been doing pretty good. She makes deviled eggs. She makes a lot of different things. Yeah. Oh yeah. She's doing pretty good.
Yeah, she can totally make me breakfast then.
Right.
That's so good. And I mean, that's another thing. Obviously, having a business is one thing. When you're essentially homeschooling, distance learning, your children, and you're trying to figure that out with your spouse, the last thing that you have is extra time. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's been very challenging. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's great. People are like, how do you figure it out? I'm like, it's not figured out. You know what? You know how I do it? I don't sleep as much. That's just the honest truth, like try to find time during the day to spend time with the kids and do stuff with them. Again, they're more self-sufficient now, so I don't need to be with them every second. But, like when they're in bed, it's when I start to, let me whip out my computer and just fire off emails or schedule emails so they go off the next morning, so my clients don't think I'm nuts sending emails at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And then also making time for yourself. Like, during the pandemic, my husband and I, we joined a wine club. It was just one of those things where we were like, listen, we need something just to something to do.
Yeah.
So it's like making time for yourself as a business owner is so important, because it is very easy to burn out. Even if you're passionate about what you do, you love what you do. We are in a pandemic. We are in, I have never been through any period like this, So it's like I have to give myself that grace to say, you know what, Sarah, you have a lot going on. This is something that you're passionate about, but find that time for yourself, whether it's saying, hey girls, you're going to have to watch TV for the next 3 hours while I go work out or whatever it might be, or just have a glass of wine with my husband. And I think that's so important that we all remember to do, not necessarily every day, because again, we all have work to do, but just making that time to ensure that you're still taking care of yourself during all this craziness. And I'm personally mentally preparing myself for the fall when it's all back to online learning, because my kids hate online learning, but we have no choice. So it's just going to be a matter of us, setting the foundation, like, hey, this is what you need to do. And also not being so hard on them, not stressing them out, because they'll be fine. I mean, yes, like they're not going to get the same level of education, but it'll be fine. So I think for me, like one thing I tell my friends as well as business owners is just, yes, it's very hard, but just make some time for yourself on a daily basis or whatever it might be. Do something that makes you happy. For me, it was joining a wine club.
That's great. I think I'm going to join a wine club. I mean, I drink wine to have my own club. I mean, I'd probably the entire club's worth of wine. Probably should join that club to make it legit. I'm like, oh, I have my own wine. I'm part of the wine club.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it makes a difference because you have something to look forward to after a very long week, and just, again, just having that grace. Like I slacked off from exercising. I used to get up every morning before the pandemic. I would be up every morning very early. I did Pilates every single day. The kids were off to school, and it just, I had a routine, and all of that was flipped upside down, and, dealt with cancellation of events. And now events are actually starting to pick up a little bit more, which is great. But then maneuvering that with, pandemic and COVID and all the requirements and so forth, it's just a little bit more difficult, so that's more reason why we just have to give ourselves grace and just know that we're all maneuvering through new territory here, and nobody is expecting anyone to be perfect. Just, do your work, do a great job at it, but give yourself grace, do something that you love, cut your kids some slack if you have children, like this is probably a time not to be as strict on rules here and there, and just, just find a way to make sure that all of this is not taking a toll on your health, because that's the most important thing right now, is that we all stay healthy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I always, it's funny because, my son's 17, he's done with all of that, but those are the things that I remember. I mean, there was a time when it was like he was in, I forgot what grade, he was really young, and like he was learning how to tell time, and like he wasn't at the the front like everybody who kind of got it right away. It was taking him a little longer, and he was getting so frustrated, and I was like, buddy, you know what, it's going to be okay, because you know what, when you're an adult, no one's going to ask how old you were when you tell time.
That is so true. You're going to have a phone or a watch.
You're gonna have time to learn those things. Like, it's okay.
Exactly.
And you have it on your phone. I mean, you have, like, it's gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. Don't worry. But those are the things that, like, sometimes we forget.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is what they have to learn right now, or this is what they're supposed to, like, it's grade level or whatever. I mean, understanding that, again, nobody asks, like, well, how old were you when you learned your times tables?
Exactly. And even if you learn it, I mean, who's to say, like, I always tell my daughter, it's funny, I'm like, ask Google.
I know.
That sounds terrible, but my youngest daughter, who is 6, she literally thinks she's working on her PhD. She's very studious, and she just, so we had to literally, like, I had to set expectations with her, believe it or not, and I talk to her like she's like a 21-year-old girl, but it really helped, because I think her just hearing that we're saying, hey, it's okay. And what we don't realize is sometimes the kids they're also feeding off of our energy. I'm a very, very type A, so is my husband. Like, I'm always on the go, do. So she's kind of has that same personality. So, but we really had to just say, hey, it's okay. And I think that actually helped, just to, also like to take any kind of expectation off of her. And now, again, we'll see what happens come fall, because they really are not looking forward to the distance learning. They miss being with, their friends at school. And as business owners too, I mean, I think the good thing is that I do have that flexibility where, I can create my own schedules to a certain extent, and, I can be more present with them in different ways. So that's great. But it also is just creating that boundaries with them as well, and also just setting expectation, and just not being so harsh on ourselves, like and being harsh on them, and not expecting so much, So it's a work in progress even for me. I'm constantly, some days I'm like, oh my God, I really wish I could do this. Like, you know what, Sarah, it's okay. Like, don't stress yourself out. So I'm personally still constantly working to, do it, to fight all of these, pressure that I put on myself. But I feel so much better when I just say, hey, you know what, this will be there tomorrow. It's okay. You're not gonna, your future is not ruined from just from what's going on with the pandemic. And even, from tying it back to the event industry, a lot of brides are just so saddened with everything that's going on. And, being able to have being able to talk to them, and not necessarily, because we don't know how anything's going to end up, right? But just being able to give them that glimpse of hope, that this is a lot going on, but it's going to be okay, and just giving them that hope and just being there for them. That's also been something that I have really been grateful that I'm in a position to do that during this time. So not only for my kids, but also like for clients, just being that source of that ray of sunshine. You know, even if after I get off the phone, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so worried, I'm so scared. They don't need to hear that. They already hear that enough from everyone around them. But you know, I just try to be that ray of sunshine and say, hey, yes, this is different. We're gonna have to move this. Yes, you're right. But you know, just give them hope and just keep them happy. And because this is crazy. Like, we're going through some crazy times right now. Yeah.
I mean, it all, like I said, like it all ties together. So like, those are the things, like if you aren't filling your bucket, right? If you're not full and do the self-care that's appropriate to you, I always want to make sure people understand, like, self-care is not like a prescripted, like you have to take a bubble bath and you have to drink 5 glasses of red. I mean, I might drink 5 glasses.
I mean, yeah.
But I'm going to tell everyone else to drink 5 glasses of red wine.
If that's your self-care.
But you need to know, like, maybe it's going for a walk, maybe it's like doing Pilates, maybe it's, you know, whatever it is,
Exactly.
you know, you need to know what that is for you. It might just be like binge watching something on Netflix. That's those that you need to know what fills you, what like really kind of energizes you, and being able to do that so that you can give grace to others. I mean, because if we have nothing left in the tank, nothing's coming out.
Nothing's coming out. I mean, it's just simple, and it's simple math, right? Nothing's coming out. No, I absolutely agree. And I think, you know, some days for me are better than others. You know, some weeks I make a lot of time for myself. Some weeks I really don't. But I know that, okay, I can't continue going on like this. You know, I have to at some point take a breather. And for me, my self-care, it varies. Like some weeks are really bad. I'm like, okay, I need like a lot of wine, or I know I don't even want any wine. I just need a bubble bath, like you said, or I just need to, you know, binge watch TV. Whatever that is to you, finding a time to do that. I'm telling you, like and even if it's just sleep. Like for me, I need a lot of sleep. I don't get a lot of sleep, but I need a lot of sleep. So my lovely husband will just say, hey, you know what, sleep in. He will, you know, he'll turn he'll turn the fan on, or like one of some sound machines to like clear all the noise from the girls. And he just lets me sleep. And he tells the girls, do not go in the room. Do not wake mommy up. She needs to sleep. And for me, that honestly just rejuvenates me. I wake up and I'm just like, oh, okay, I can work all night again. And, you know, it's just like doing whatever fuels you up. That is important, especially right now. It is absolutely important.
Absolutely. I love that. That's honestly, those are the things sometimes we forget. Like if we just take even a power nap, like if you sleep a little bit and that's going to like get you that much further.
Yep, exactly. Why not? Hey, you can do it. Why not? Exactly. No, I absolutely agree. And I am all for just finding what's unique to you, you know, not just because this works for me, just find what works for you. Exactly. Yep. Exactly. Absolutely.
Sarah, thank you so much. I love having you on here. This is fantastic.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for having me. And I am so grateful for your platform as well. I just want to say that. I'm so grateful for your platform. I remember like we connected, I think, earlier on.
Yeah.
Early this year, I want to say, you know, and I remember I was even telling you, like, you've always been very supportive of me, supportive of us in general, supportive of the association. And so thank you for giving back. Thank you for being an ally. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the platform that you've created. And I'm so grateful to be on here. And yeah, I mean, I can go on and on.
That's great. Thank you. But no, because it's so important. And I, you know, Chanda, you know, and I were talking about this yesterday. It's important to make sure that people understand that there's a lot of lanes.
Yes.
You know, there's a lot of opportunities, and, you know, being able to help shine light. I mean, the industry is big. It just keeps growing.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that I love about what the society is doing is because the industry itself is growing so rapidly. And I mean, there's basically like a non-existent bar that, you know, to join the industry, like, oh, I'm at, you know, event planner. I have a 11, so I'm now a photographer.
Right.
I have a Spotify playlist. I am a DJ. You know, like, Not exactly. Not
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I love that not only are you guys, helping to create, especially for Black wedding professionals and event professionals, you're helping create,
Addie's cracking up.
but you're helping create that bar for people to understand
Absolutely.
standard. And, Chanda was saying like Ethos West, like showing like people who've been in the industry forever
Yes.
what they're doing, Muna Lucci, and, Be Collective. Like there's so many amazing tenants that people like, they just don't necessarily know about. And so I think it's important for people, number one, to be able to be exposed to these things, because if we don't understand how we can help each other, especially, I mean, I've been in the industry for 20 years. It's like, dear Lord, I've made so many mistakes.
Absolutely.
Were they in vain, or can I help someone else and be
Exactly.
like, listen, do not go left. Whatever you do, don't do that. Like
Right. No, I
it gives value. Yeah, it gives value to like my mistakes. And so if I can do that, why would I not want to do that? And those are the things that I want to do, because I think it's important. Those are the things that are important, making sure that everyone has a seat at the table. Like the table's big enough. We're good.
Exactly. No, but I mean it, Megan. I really do appreciate that you are using your voice and your platform to just, to be an ally, and I think it's important for people to see what you're doing, and honestly, like I remember when you reached out to me earlier on this year, even before the association, I think I mentioned to you before, like that it left a really tough place in my heart, because you reached out to say, hey, I see you. And sometimes that's all people just need is just, hey, I see you have stuff going on, just extending a hand here and there. So you are setting an example of what a true allyship looks like. So I just want to personally thank you for that.
Cry. Thank
you.
Yeah.
Oh no.
That's sweet.
I'm usually the one that's crying.
Thank you.
No,
well, like I said, those are the things. Like I really, you guys can totally hold me accountable. I try my best to DM everyone who follows us, just to let them know, like, hey, thanks for the follow. I see you. I like what you're doing. If we can help, please let me know. Because that's all it is. Like people need to know they're not alone. And now more than ever, people know that they're not alone. Like, and if we can be of help, like I'm more than happy to help. Like that's why we do this. I want people to understand.
Exactly.
This industry is bigger than just you, even though
it is.
Feel like you're like the only one at your computer, like away at 3 a.m. pretending the emails are going out at 8, but
they're not really.
They're not really going out. Exactly. So it's like, you can kind of feel like, okay, so I'm not alone in the world. There is someone here, and and I think that's, I mean, wedding industry or not, I think that's, as humans, we just need to know that sometimes like it's going to be okay, and there's someone there to support you.
Exactly. Absolutely. No, I appreciate it. And you're setting the example. So thank you for doing that. And I'm so honored to be on here. Thank you for having me. And you saw the transformation, 20 minutes.
Listen, like I said, you get a trophy. We're going to have to do, like, you're going to do your own webinar. It's going to be like, how to get ready. How to get ready, shower, complete everything.
Yes.
And look as fabulous as Sarah, because like 5 years later, this is like, I showered and
I just have to put on something bright. My favorite color is green, so that wasn't hard.
There you go. I like green.
Thank you so much. And Addie put in a comment here, we appreciate you. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you. Yes, no, absolutely. Addie, we're going to get you on next. We're going to have you on next.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, thank you guys. Seriously, thank you so much. And I hope you rest. Get some sleep tonight.
I plan on it, actually. I literally plan on getting sleep tonight.
Yay! I love it. I love it. Very good. Well, enjoy your sleep.
Thank you
so much. Because you deserve it. Yes. And thank you for everything. I really, really, really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And enjoy your weekend as well.
You too. Have a great one.
You too.